Good day. My name is Gene Fritz. I am conducting this presentation on behalf of 805 Broadway and Social Kitchen in order to solicit feedback from the trades, electrical, plumbing, and mechanical to support the renovation of a space at 805 Broadway. We're excited about this partnership. The picture on this slide deck right now represents a property that we've benchmarked from called Food Lab in Boulder, Colorado. It gives you a good overview of what the space might look like as a finished product, both conceptually and operationally. Let me go ahead and jump on in. First, I want to thank the Broadway, 805 Broadway team for their patience and persistence in the process. Multiple tours, looking at the main space, looking at the parking garage, trying to identify plumbing and electrical sort of distribution and design. Thank you so much for answering questions and being patient with me. My apologies for not getting this presentation off to you sooner. With the end of a semester and the beginning of a semester at my full-time job as a culinary arts teacher at Battleground High School, it presented some barriers for me to get this delivered sooner. So thanks for your patience. I'm excited about taking next steps and hopefully getting the trades into the space and getting some estimates in hand so we can move forward with the process. So thank you. Concept overview. I want to walk the vendors through the space, give you sort of a theoretical and floor plan layout of the space, and I'll break down each one of the sort of compartmentalized areas in the space and try to help the trades understand what we might need done in the space. And then I look forward to hopefully working with 805 Broadway team and the trades to get a meeting scheduled on site as soon as possible for the team to provide some input for us. So thank you so much for taking on this prospective project and providing some additional insights in terms of cost. So welcome again, vendors. We're looking at soliciting input from HVAC, from an HVAC perspective regarding mechanical, from an electrical perspective. I provided sort of a brief overview of sort of the amperage required in each compartmentalized space. And then obviously plumbing as well. We want input from the trades in order to drive the estimation of our LOI costs and hopefully building out a lease term that's viable for both parties. So your input right now is critical for us to take next steps. Social Kitchen delivers a fun, interactive cooking and dining experience where guests prepare a multi-course meal. That's the mission of Social Kitchen. This is our first launch location. We're excited to also look at scaling our concept beyond even the Pacific Northwest and becoming a national brand. This is the first store of its kind for us here in Vancouver, Washington. This is a picture of myself and Gretchen when we were doing a benchmarking trip to Boulder, Colorado, again to Food Lab and meeting with the owner there. And we believe this is a very viable concept, and the 805 Broadway location is going to be a great partnership for us in the downtown location here in Vancouver. The goal for Social Kitchen is to just giving you some sort of cultural framework is to be hospitable, inviting, to give our guests a fun experience and to leave encouraged, both relating to food and relationship, connecting with the greater community, meeting with people that maybe you don't know and building new relationships. That's our primary mission for Social Kitchen. Want to just give you that for some context. 805 Broadway, as you probably already are familiar with the property, great location. We are looking at the northwest location, as you see on the screen right here in this perspective location here, obviously adjacent to this great opening reception sort of outdoor area that we're looking at partnering with as well. We're excited about the overall project. The square footage for the space is 2413, and you can see here, I'll give you a PDF layout of the space as well. But this is the overall square footage as provided by 805 Broadway. Tamara could be contacted. Her information is on the slide if you need more information about this space in particular. Here's some external pictures of the space. couple windows that we actually want to transform into sliding doors. And then you can see here the entrance of the space, and we'll provide a partnership and some amenity services to the tenancy in the building by having a coffee window concept in the southwest portion of the space. So the coffee concept would be here. The primary space for operating the business would be here, and then a back kitchen and restroom in this area in the back. Overall layout, and this is just an estimation. Obviously, the equipment, we've nailed down most of the equipment based on a partnership with Thermador. We're excited also to be partnering with some other commercial equipment distributors for back of the house equipment. Some of those pieces of equipment have not been selected yet. We'll be providing specs for those pieces of equipment as we move forward. So the coffee area, as you can see in the southwest portion of the space, and then the primary dining area or guest experience area, as we might call it, located here. Restroom, we expect capacity not to exceed 49, so one restroom should be sufficient for the space we expect, and then a back kitchen for prep, storage, and again, sort of a shared warewashing area for both the coffee services area and the prep area for social kitchen. Getting into the guest experience area, the primary island where cooking and learning happens. The goal is for guests to come in, experience a hands-on cooking experience for 2.5 hours. They'll prepare a multi-course meal and then sit down and enjoy that meal. Our staff will deal with supporting the execution, delivery, instruction of the experience, and as well the cleanup. Electrical requirements, we estimate about 200 amps for just single gang outlets on the island, as well as induction cooktops taking up roughly an estimated 100 amperage. Mechanical hoods, we're looking at a 12 by 3 estimation. We need to cover 3 induction cooktops and obviously have fire suppression that complements that. Plumbing, you can see based on the blue icons, we have 3 hand sinks on the island, and then as well just a water source for cooking. Type 1 hood is probably the more complicated piece for this space, so the mechanical input is going to be invaluable to this phase of the project. There is a good amount of HVAC already in the space for just building AC and heating, and we need to configure around that. I'll give you some perspective on that here in the following slides. This particular picture is from Food Lab. It's basically a floating island hood, going out. This one in particular goes up 2 floors, but we have immediate penetration opportunity above to the rooftop, so that's convenient. And as you can see, very similar. Again, we'll have 3 induction cooktops and a water source on the island, as well as hand sinks. So this is a really good view of what the HVAC might look like, and obviously might need to be custom. We want it to be as warm and friendly as possible. The model is not a commercial kitchen. The goal is for Social Kitchen to be recreational and, more importantly, a residential feel to it, much like a home kitchen. The one thing about the hood that we want the mechanical team to understand is that we want the hood to be located as high up as possible. Obviously, the consideration of the rooftop unit and overall CFM needs to be factored into the science of that, but we want it to be communicated. It's a 12-foot ceiling right now, and we want to have the hood elevated up as high as possible. So we'll have to do the math to factor that into the design process. And again, the rooftop, as you can see here, this is the overall space right here. And the rooftop unit preferred location, according to 805 Broadway team, is on the northwest corner of the space. So right here. Moving on from that particular sort of centralized experiential space for the guest, I want to move to the back island area. You can see we have a couple flat screen monitors, 3 double ovens, 2 under counter microwave ovens, and a sink for prep that's going to have actually 2 faucet locations. You can see the single gang amperage requirements or estimations along with what is needed for the ovens, and I've taken all the specifications from the sheets that I will provide for you for each each piece of equipment from Thermador to help support informing the process. As well, you can see we have, as I said, a prep sink. We'll need floor drain connected to this sink that's going to go to the grease interceptor as well. And we'll need to talk about where that grease interceptor might be installed in order to get the particular uh, rise and run of the plumbing to get that water out and to the appropriate grease interceptor. So more conversation about that possibly when we're on site. Getting into the restroom, pretty basic. Obviously, one restroom, ADA accessible, some outlets in the location, and obviously the standard hot and cold water sources. The one thing I do want to note is I want the consideration. We're not a traditional restaurant where water demand is super high, and I expect possibly a tankless water heater to be a solution. Some of the imagery in the floor planner app that I'm using for design was not suitable for this, and so there's a standard water heater here in the plan, but a tankless water heater might be our preference. We'll have to look at that and see if that's a possibility. But concentrating smaller footprint would be a desire. And then I believe we don't have high demand for water to the point that we can't get away with a tankless unit. I think we can. So that's something we can converse more about as we meet on site. The back kitchen, as you can see, most conveniently located single gang outlets throughout the space for the use of prep. Obviously, building out some of it. The left sort of north end here is all storage. Okay, so these are all just a mobile sort of library for storage and shelving on the wall to store equipment. This concept based on international cuisine or kids cooking camps, date nights, whatever it might be, men's barbecue, whatever it might be that's the theme of the class requires a depth of equipment that's very not customary to a regular restaurant. So having a library of equipment where we can pick and pull the different type of equipment that aligns with the outcomes of the class is important. So more storage is important. This wall consists of prep tables as well, floor drain in the middle, hand washing sink, freezer, three two-door refrigerators, ware washing area, three-bay sink, drying rack, and then as well a freezer in the back corner that serves both concepts. Coffee area, pretty standard, short, quick fire, flash oven, espresso machine, drip over machine, and hand washing sink along with ice machine and refrigeration are all needed. As you can see, amperage outlined here for all those particular pieces of equipment and the necessary plumbing for the particular coffee service space. Noticing that there's a penetration of a window here on the southwest corner of the space. My goal is to provide as many resources to you as possible. There's links and also the addresses for how you can access both Basco's estimate of equipment from Thermador, as well as a floor planner layout, 805 Broadway's layout of the space, and then as well this presentation deck. You have our contact information here on the screen. Feel free to text me direct or call me if you have any follow-up questions. My goal is to make this process as easy as possible for the vendors, for the electrical, mechanical, and plumbing vendors to get the information they need to help inform us so that we can move into next steps of the process. In terms of scheduling, I want 805 Broadway team to take point on that. I will make sure to open up my schedule whenever we can get the trades in. I will make sure that I'm available, myself and Gretchen available to do the walkthrough and answer more detailed questions with the trades. We're excited about taking next steps and learning more about how we can formulate an LOI after we identify these costs and look at long-term lease options. And we thank both the 805 Broadway team for their patience in the process and are looking forward to working with the trades accordingly. So thanks so much for taking time. Again, reach out to us. Feel free to call or text if you have any questions while you're considering the design of the process. I want to be at your convenience throughout this whole phase of this prospective partnership. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.